Hey guys, so today I thought I would do a video sitting down and explaining to you why I am in Kingsport at my parents' house so much lately. This has been a question that I've been getting a lot, and I think that it is a valid question because my husband and I purchased a house in Nashville in October. It is currently the beginning of March when I'm filming this, and I have spent more time out of my house than I have in my house. And I know it's confusing people, and I agree, it is confusing. So I thought I would just make a video. If you guys are curious why I'm always in Kingsport lately, I will explain it all in this video. Some of what I'm going to explain, I'm sure you guys already know if you are a current viewer of my channel, but if you just want me to kind of put all the pieces together and make this make more sense for you, I'm gonna do that in this video. I'm just gonna start from the beginning. Like I said, you guys might know some of this, whatever. So I lived in Los Angeles for 10 years. After school, that's where I moved to, and that's where I ended up living up until this past year, 2019. I lived in an apartment that I shared with Blair for a few years. After that, we moved to a condo building and we had separate condos in the same building. And then after that, we ended up purchasing houses in Orange County and moving there. And the reason that we moved into a house is because, well, the biggest reason is I got engaged and was planning a wedding, and my condo I had purchased as like a little 1-bedroom condo, and at the same time I had started my sticker shop, and my sticker shop grew very quickly from the very beginning, and that was fully because I already had a following from YouTube going into the sticker world. So my sticker business, I started it as just myself, but it quickly expanded to having employees. By the time we moved out of my condo, I had 3 employees working with me. So it was me, Alex, and 3 employees at my condo at all times, plus all of the sticker inventory, the supplies and all of that. It just was so much. And Alex and I had gotten a second cat when we got engaged. So just my condo went from 1 person and 1 cat to 2 cats and 5 people pretty much all the time very quickly. So Alex and I were planning a wedding. It was just the perfect time for us to buy our first house, and that's what we ended up doing. We ended up buying a house that was big enough that we could expand the shop as much as we wanted. And it was incredible. At the same time that all this was going on, my mom decided to come on board with Glam Planner, and she hired her own team in Kingsport to help her with production. We kind of worked this out over time. This kind of was like a growing pains process because the shop was growing a lot faster than we could keep up with. And if you were a customer back when I first started my shop, I'm sure that you can remember all of the kits would sell out instantly. I wasn't able to keep anything in stock, and it was just really difficult to grow at a pace that would keep up with the shop, which I'm not complaining. I mean, that is the best problem to have within a business, but it is still a problem that has to be solved. So my mom decided to come on board and handle all of the production. So her and her team of girls in Kingsport did the majority of our production. They did all of the printing and cutting, and then they would send the packages to us, and my team would quality control and package. My team also handled all of the inventory and the shipping. So her team did production, my team did packaging and shipping, and it worked out really well. The teams worked really well together. We each had a team of 6 employees, so 6 in California and 6 in Kingsport, and that worked well for years. This went on for years. Well, fast forward a few years, and Alex and I had baby James, and I've done a whole video on this, like why I'm moving to Nashville, if you want to watch that video, but we decided we wanted to move to Tennessee. We were tired of being so far from family, and especially with having a baby, and we knew we wanted more babies. We just wanted to be closer to family. We wanted to be back in the South. We wanted to be in a good school district. I go over all of this in that video. Definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. The actual move to Nashville ended up taking like a year of prep work because it was just a lot. It wasn't just a family moving. We had businesses. Alex had a music studio in California. We owned 2 houses at that time, not just 1. So we had to sell 2 houses, and it just was a lot. There was a lot going on top of having 6 employees who worked full time at my shop. And so I ended up letting them know, I think it was around January of 2019, that we were planning on relocating. I offered all of them full-time positions if they wanted to relocate with us. None of them did because they were all local California girls, like their families lived in Orange County. But I would have loved for some of them to come with me, but they all had definitely enough time to find new jobs. Everyone ended up leaving on happy terms. I still talk to all of the girls. I send them pictures of James and the cats because they loved the cats. Alex and I decided that we did not want to rush the process of purchasing a home in Nashville. We looked for about a year before we found the house that we ended up buying, and there were lots of homes that we really liked, and there were homes that one of us loved but the other one didn't, and vice versa. And until we found the house that we ended up buying, there wasn't a single house that we were both like, this is the one, we have to snag this house. And when we found it, we were just like, it was like we were hit with lightning. Like, we literally knew in the driveway before we had even walked into the house that that was going to be our house. I'm actually getting a little bit ahead of myself. So while we were selling our California houses, we decided to move in with my parents while we house hunted in Nashville and sold our California houses. Ideally, we did want to sell both of our houses before purchasing in Nashville. That ended up not happening. We ended up selling one and then buying and then selling the other one because that's just the way it fell when we found the right house. We didn't want to miss out on it, so we went ahead and got it. But the plan was we're gonna sell both houses and then we're gonna house hunt and all of this. And so we moved in with my parents. I think it was around April or May of 2019, and we lived with them until October when we ended up buying our house. And we didn't know how long we were gonna end up living with them. It was very open-ended. My parents basically said, you can live with us for as long as you need, which is incredible that they were willing to let us do that. And it really it helped not put any pressure on the process of picking out a house. But back to the whole theme of this video, what ended up happening is we ended up growing the Kingsport sticker shop because the 6 employees that were in Kingsport were not enough to cover all of the work that the 6 girls in California had been doing. So when we closed shop in California and moved to Tennessee, the Kingsport team ended up picking up all of the shop work. We ended up hiring a few new girls, and we did it slowly so that we could really kind of like see what the workload was going to be, because this is common sense in some ways, but until you see it in practice, it's kind of hard to imagine. But the amount of work that 12 girls were doing was not the same as what 10 or 9 girls could do if they were all under one roof. It's less efficient to have 2 teams doing the work of one shop than it would be for everyone to be under one roof. And so the amount of work that 12 girls used to do can now be handled by 9 or 10 girls. And so we kind of grew the Kingsport team slowly and made sure that we weren't over hiring, but also like not making the girls totally overwhelmed, which they were at the beginning. We worked slowly to train them on everything that the California team had been doing. And over time, they have grown into just a wonderful team that can now handle the entire shop. And it's just working out really well. So that brings me back to the question, why are you in Kingsport so often? I am in Kingsport so often because my business is based in Kingsport, and as of now, we have no plans to move the business to Nashville. Maybe one day in the future we will, but it doesn't make sense in any way right now for us to try to split the work again, because it's so much more efficient to have one team. And that team happens to be in Kingsport. It couldn't have been in Nashville because we weren't in Nashville for several months after we moved. I would have had to shut down the shop completely and hire a whole new team and train them from scratch. It would have been a nightmare. The Kingsport team was able to pick up on everything very quickly because they already knew the ins and outs of the shop. And so it just would not have been efficient in any way to try to start a shop from scratch in Nashville, or to split the shop at this point when we have such a good, efficient team working in Kingsport. I hope that makes sense. And it's not something that in an ideal world would my shop be in Kingsport and I live in Nashville? No, but that is how my life is right now. Luckily, Nashville is only 4 hours away from Kingsport. That might sound like a ton to you depending on where you live, but even living in California and LA for 10 years, Blair lived like 2 hours away from me at one point in the same city. So like 4 hours back and forth. So it just doesn't feel that crazy. I have been coming over for a week out of every 3 weeks. And that's been going on for ever since the holidays. So for a couple of months now, that's been the system. I've been coming over for a week. I do bring baby James with me. Alex has been coming for half that time. So he'll come with me for like the first half or the second half of the trip. And then he'll spend a few days alone in Nashville powering through work, getting just a ton done. And in those days that I'm here, my mom is able to help me with James a lot so that I'm also able to power through work and just get like a ton done. I'm trying to get all of my designs for each week that I'm gonna be in Nashville done while I'm in Kingsport. And it's actually been working out pretty well because I'm getting this uninterrupted work time that I never get at home. Alex and I are only ever separated for a few days out of each 3-week period, but we're getting very tired of it. We were talking about this last time, and then again this time. We're just kind of over it. And so I think that these long trips, these not long, but constant trips to Kingsport are going to be coming to an end slowly over the next month or so. We're just kind of tired of the back and forth and also of being separated, even if it's only for a couple of days. We're not used to being separated. We both work from home and we like never spend nights apart really. So, you know, it's not ideal, but it is what our life is right now with our work. And I think in order to make everything work smoothly, we're gonna figure out some sort of childcare for James in Nashville, a couple of days a week, either an in-home nanny, or I'm not quite ready to send him to daycare. I don't think he's there yet. Because the thing is, I am able to do work while watching James. A lot of my work is on the computer. I can do it during his nap time. I can do it once he goes down at night, but I'm not as efficient as I would be if I had just like a whole day or two a week to just power through everything. And then I can give my fully focused attention to James and Alex on those other days. So I think that a childcare situation is going to be what we're going to end up going towards. We are in the process of looking for an in-home nanny a couple of days a week, and we're just gonna kind of see where that goes. I'm not ready to send him to preschool yet. He is gonna go to like some sort of daycare probably when he's 3. At this point, to be honest, I wish that I could just do it all myself. And I think that most days I can, but I am so lucky that I don't have an office job that I have to go into 5 days a week, 40 hours a week, be completely away from my kid, put him in daycare. I was that kid. My mom and dad both worked when I was little. I was put in daycare at 6 weeks old and I was there full time my whole life. I never had the like child at home. I was never the kid at home. And I know that James and I are both really blessed that we're able to have that life and have so much time together. And I just want to be the best mom for him. And so I don't know, you know, talking about childcare and stuff, especially if you're a work-at-home mom, it can create a lot of resentment in viewers, I think, because I think if you are a mom who does work at an office job and you just work all the time, you never see your kid, I think that it can cause resentment, and I don't want to do that. I hope if you are a woman in that position that you don't take what I'm saying wrong and think that I'm being bratty or unappreciative of my situation. I just want to create as much efficiency as possible. And I have said that word so many times in this video, efficiency. I think that's the word of 2020 for me, because everything has been about figuring out how to get things done well, the fastest. And that has really been a growing point for me recently, something that I've really been working on getting better at. So to wrap this video up, I am in Kingsport so often because of work, and I hope I explained it well. I know a lot of people were like, why isn't your office in Nashville? Or on the flip side, if your work was going to be in Kingsport, why don't you live in Kingsport? And the answer to that is we wanted to be in Nashville. The schools in our county are the best in the state. My sister is there. It's a musical city. My husband's a musician. It's pretty close to Kingsport. It feels like the best of every world to us, and we are so happy to be there and so happy in our house. Like, we never want to move again. Like, we love our house and our neighborhood and our location. But it is this weird time in our lives. I mean, you guys have watched me now for 11 years if you've been here from the beginning, or some extent of time out of that 11 years. And I've never had a situation where I've been traveling out of my house so much. But that is just the season of life that we're in right now. And we're working on, you know, figuring it out. This move to Nashville has been difficult and it's been a long process. If you think that we decided we were going to do this in January of last year and it's March of this year and we're still working out the growing pains of it, but it is worth it. I hope that that helped explain it a little bit. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You sat through it. You didn't get bored. Maybe you did, maybe you left, but if you're still here, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell to be notified of videos, and leave me a comment telling me that you're still watching. If you are still watching at this point, leave me a comment so I can be like, you're the best. So I'll see you guys with my next video. Goodbye.